Ever feel that little twinge in your knee climbing stairs? Or maybe some stiffness in your hips when you get out of the car? If that sounds familiar, then you've come to the right place. We're about to break down 5 super simple, but really powerful exercises that are designed to build strength and resilience in 2 of the most important joints in your entire body. Let's get right into it.
So let's be real for a second. What is the actual secret to moving through life feeling strong, stable, and, most importantly, pain-free? I mean, it's a goal we all have, right? But the path to get there might just be a whole lot simpler than you think. Well, the answer is pretty foundational. It all starts right here, with your knees and your hips. Just think about it. These joints are the workhorses that literally carry you through every single day. So giving them the right kind of attention, that's the absolute key to long-term health and mobility.
Okay, so with that in mind, let's get to the good stuff. We're going to explore 5 key exercises. Think of this as your personal toolkit for building stronger, more resilient joints.
First up on our list, banded clam shells. Now, this one might look pretty simple, but don't let that fool you. You should not underestimate its power. This is a super targeted move for your hip muscles, specifically the gluteus medius and minimus.
And here's exactly why this simple-looking move is so incredibly effective. It helps stabilize your hips. Now, that stability is everything. It's what stops your knees from collapsing inward, and not just at the gym, but when you're walking, or climbing stairs, or bending down. Trust me, proper alignment here is absolutely crucial.
All right, let's break down how to do it. You're going to put a resistance band just above your knees and lie on your side. The most important thing here is to keep your feet glued together and really isolate the movement to your hip. Open that top knee, pause at the top to really feel that squeeze in your glute, and then, and this is super important, control it on the way back down, no snapping. Next up, we are taking that hip stability we just worked on and we're putting it to the test with the Bulgarian Split Squat. This is a single-leg powerhouse that really targets the major muscles around both your hip and your knee, especially your quads and glutes. And this is just brilliant because it shows the dual benefit. You're not just building raw strength here, you're also seriously challenging your balance and stability. You know, working one leg at a time is fantastic because it immediately shows you if you have any strength imbalances between your left and right sides, and then it helps you fix them. So, how do you actually do it? Well, you place your back foot up on a bench with your front foot out on the floor. Then you're going to lower yourself down by bending that front knee, making sure to keep your torso nice and upright. Then you press powerfully through that front foot to get right back to the start. All right, moving on to number 3, the classic Goblet Squat. This is what's called a foundational strength move, and for a really good reason. It's basically a full-body movement that has a laser focus on your leg muscles. And here is the key takeaway, folks. The main muscles doing the work here, your quads and your glutes, are the exact same muscles that provide that critical support for both your knee and your hip joints. I mean, talk about an efficient exercise. And you can see how they work together, right? Your quads, they're at the front of your thigh, they give you knee stability. And then your powerful glutes, they drive your hips forward. The Goblet Squat basically trains these 2 powerhouses to work together in perfect harmony. It's awesome. Now, the form here is pretty straightforward, but it is vital to get it right. Hold a weight right at your chest. Brace your core like you're about to get punched in the stomach, and then sink your hips down and back. Once you've hit your comfortable depth, press through the middle of your foot to stand back up tall. And remember, keep that core tight the entire time. Our 4th move is another single-leg classic that builds on everything we've done so far, the step up. Just like the split squat, it targets all those super important muscles for hip and knee stability, but it does it in a slightly different way. You know what I love about this one? It breaks the movement down into 2 distinct phases. So as you press up, you are lighting up your quads. Then as you stand up tall and extend your hips at the very top, boom, your glutes take over. It's just a really complete movement. So to do this, place one foot fully on a box or a bench. Drive through that foot to stand all the way up. But listen up, here is the most important part, the descent. You've got to lower yourself back down slowly and with control. Try to place your back foot on the ground as quietly as possible. That's where the real work and the real benefit happens. And hey, here's a simple but absolutely brilliant pro tip for adjusting the difficulty. If it feels a little too hard, just use a lower box. And if you need more of a challenge, find a higher one. It's so easy to scale this for any fitness level. Okay, we've made it to our final exercise, the hip bridge. This movement really zeroes in on the hips and is an absolute powerhouse for targeting all of your glute muscles. The source material is crystal clear here. This is a glute-dominant exercise. So why does that matter so much? Well, here's the big aha moment. Think of your glutes as the powerful anchor for your thigh bone. If your glutes are weak, that bone can start to drift inward, which puts a ton of stress directly on your knee joint. So strong glutes means stable hips, which leads to happier, healthier knees. See? It's all connected.
For the setup, you're going to lie on your back with your feet flat on the floor. Brace that core, and then drive your hips up toward the ceiling. Now, the most common mistake here is overextending your lower back. You want to stop when your hips are fully extended. Squeeze those glutes really hard at the top, and then lower back down with control.
Okay, so we've got our 5 awesome exercises. But the million-dollar question is, how do we actually fit these into our lives and make them a real habit? Let's talk about building a routine that actually sticks.
And this right here, this is the golden rule. If you take one thing away from all of this, let it be this: consistency. It's not about one perfect killer workout. It's about showing up again and again over time. That is the real secret to building strength that lasts.
And the best part is, this is super accessible. You don't need to carve out a dedicated leg day. You can just sprinkle a few sets of these exercises into your existing workouts. Where you put them is way less important than simply doing them. Of course, if you want a plan that's really personalized to you, consulting a professional coach is always going to be your best bet.
And there you have it, 5 simple tools for building a rock-solid foundation of strength. Remember that feeling of lifelong, pain-free movement we talked about at the beginning? It really does start with one small step. So the only question left is, which one of these exercises are you going to start with today? Thanks for joining me.